Hey guys, welcome. So I'm gonna try to start the stream in like a minute because I just went live. I hope you're doing great today. Bitcoin doing everything as expected. We're gonna analyze it. Sorry, I had sand chart. I was kind of trading it. Where do I go? Let's use this. Let's see the chat. Hello. Oh, hello. Long time. The subtle live streams, folks. Yeah, some signals probably will be given in the stream today. Probably. I should have actually scheduled the stream, but I've been so busy lately, that I actually couldn't really do it on time. But yeah, hopefully, even though it's not scheduled, people will watch it later. So anyways, we can start. We can start because it's gonna be uploaded on YouTube later, and I also have to go soon because it's kind of late here for me. But I thought maybe I will just do this stream because people just need the guidance, or maybe they're too scared right now. Even though for me, just BTC still doing its thing, nothing changing actually for it. I'm gonna try to pop always in the chat and see what's up. If you guys need anything, let me remove the chat because it gets annoying sometimes for people. So yeah, let's see what's up with Bitcoin. So welcome guys to the live stream today. I hope you're doing great today. Sorry again, I haven't been uploading recently. I have also been kind of busy with my own personal life, having some personal issues to deal with, but hopefully everything will be sorted out. I'll go back to normal in the next week or so. With that said, I'm gonna jump to the charts and just see what's up with Bitcoin. Even though for me, what I'm seeing right now in BTC is it's very, very natural. It's nothing out of the blue or out of the ordinary. You can see, first of all, I had this trend line right here, which was our main support, short-term support. It got broken, and after this break, this kind of signaled the correction. Now BTC has finally done its first lower low. I have been waiting for this lower low for like 3 weeks right now. It hit our mark around 56.5, so not too far from the 55k region, and yeah, it's a first lower low. This kind of indicates a short-term downtrend. Basically, you can expect a lower high to be made after this lower low has been reached. Of course, we might find some divergences in the charts, some daily divergences or some 4-hour divergences, which we will talk about as well. But just zooming out and just seeing nothing, I could tell you for sure that you are now in an official downtrend. Now, why do I say this is an official downtrend? Because first of all, you had your support trend line, which got broken, and you can see it got broken with kind of good confirmation of a break. You had a lot of volume on the break, so this is not just a fake out. You dumped massively from around 66,000 to 56,000, so 10k drop, similar to every other situation which you had earlier. So here you had your main support trend line as well, like that, and then you can see here what happened. You dropped with volume and with force, and you formed your first lower low, and this was followed by a lower high as well. And these lower low, lower high type of situations kind of play out like 90 to 95% of the time. So once you spot that lower low, most likely you will spot a lower high after that. That's how markets work. Now, these lower lows and lower highs are just short-term lower lows and lower highs. Your main low right here, your bull market low, is this one right here. And I'm calling it bull market low because this is the line in the sand for the bull market. You lose this zone basically, then I assume you're in a bear market, because this is your main. So if you basically do a lower low like this, you're reversing a trend that has been an upward trend since July. So a 6-month upward trend has been just reversed. Now, of course, this will be again followed by a lower high. It's not like it's going to go down like that. for sure it's going to be followed by a lower high. Most likely the lower high will be the trend line again. So you might see like Bitcoin going to like 53 one more time or something like that, and then you can kind of form like some type of head and shoulder formation. There's many scenarios, but the line in the sand for me is this region right there. You lose it, you're like 95% you're in a bear market. If you're not in a bear market, you're going to be in another extended corrective phase if this region holds, the 30K region. So if you go lose this and you do a lower high and then you start bouncing right here again, then this is just delaying the inevitable. Basically, it's a repeat of 2017 where you just kept bouncing here, going up, bouncing here, going up, bouncing here, going up, and then finally you broke one more time and then bounced up and formed a new higher high and then went on a new rally. But that's too far off. That's too far off. We're not going to jump the gun and start scaring people because there's nothing to be scared of right now. What I can tell you for sure from my own perspective as a TA, as an analyst, is that you are forming a lower high, a lower low, sorry, and this will be potentially followed by a lower high as well. Now, a lower high, this lower high will be lower than this right here. This is your high right there. So anything below this this region right here, so anything below 66.5, 67, that will be considered a lower high, and Bitcoin loves to do this, and you can see it right here. Something similar to this will happen, in my opinion, where you form a lower high and then you bounce, you form a lower low, and then you bounce, you form a lower high, and then you drop again. Now, it doesn't mean that we will drop similar to this, but after this lower high is formed, you'll form one more lower low, and then you're going to keep forming lower highs and lower lows and forming this kind of downward channel. You can call it a falling wedge or downward parallel channel, which is kind of bullish in nature either way. And after that is formed, the potential breakout will be to the upside. It's most of the time the breakout is to the upside, and it would be something similar. So I can kind of show you what this might look like. Okay, so something along these lines. Now this is still not confirmed yet, by the way, the low, so it could go lower, but I'm assuming this is just the low that it did. And you can see this is kind of like a falling wedge right here, so something like that. That would be some type of falling wedge, and then it's not a very strong falling wedge, by the way. So it's not really the inclination level, the angle is not that severe, so it's kind of nice, it's kind of average. But most likely these kind of form like a B, C, D, and then E moves, something similar to this, and then you break out after. And as you can see, I don't see us dipping too much. I see us maybe potentially wicking to 53, maybe. But I think 55K is going to be probably a very strong support. The 55 to 54K region will be a very strong support. And I think that's, we already hit 56.5, which is super close to 55. And I think this is a legit lower low right now. We will go probably for a lower high one more time, maybe around this region right there. Make some people FOMO in, think that the correction is kind of over, or the downtrend rather, because it will be a downtrend right now. And then you're going to drop one more time and then probably hit your head one more time around 55 and then finally break. And I don't think that's going to take a long time to do, by the way. I think maybe give or take around I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks tops. These are the general corrections that what happens with BTC. But I do want to point out that I want you guys to be careful on that lower high that will be made. Now, if you do break above the trend line and you do form a higher high, so if basically your higher high has to be above 66.5. Now, if you do form that 66.5 high or above 66.5, you need to retest the trend line and find it as support in order to break the all-time high one more time. If you don't, you're going to basically fake out and then enter again one more time the falling wedge till you finally break to the upside. And like I said, I give this around 10 days to finalize. Yeah, 10 days in my opinion. I did say be careful for the 21st of November. Currently in my time zone, it's the 19th of November, so 2 days. So this is where we are right now. And yeah, everything looking still okay on the macro. I told you guys, if you watched my previous videos, this trend line is the one that I'm watching out for right now. This is where I expect BTC to hold. It should hold. If you lose it, things become kind of scary, but not super scary. The only thing that will scare me so much is if you actually make a lower low, so lower than 40K. If you do lose 53, and this will be potentially your trend line, by the way, and you can see, I don't know, let's say we go here and we wick down somewhere here around 6th of December. So let's say the breakout will be around 6th of December or 5th of December, somewhere along that region, right? So you can see your trend line is coming in around 55.5. So wick down like this to test this, something similar to this. You see like that wick and then potential upside and bam. You can see something like that happening again, something similar to this correction. But it's not the end of the world, like I said. And our indicators will tell us more. So I'm going to go first to the high time frame indicators, which kind of tell us the macro perspective of BTC and how it's doing, the health. And then we will go to the micro indicators, which is like the 1 hour, 2 hours, and 4 hours. And they will probably tell us what's going to happen in the next few days, 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going to go to the weekly first, because the weekly is very, very interesting. Let me remove all of this because I don't really need it. I just want to keep my chart clean so you guys don't get lost too much. So I'm going to go to the weekly chart and I'm going to try to explain what is something that is nice, what is something that is not nice, where you potentially can find BTC pumping or dumping from what area. Now you can see that usually when you do correct heavily, which is something similar to this, you usually test your 18 and 30 EMA on the weekly chart. Now your 18 and 30 EMA right now are coming in around 53,500, so which is our previous all-time local high basically. And testing it is not the end of the world. Actually testing this and confirming it as support is what you need, and it will be super healthy and super good for BTC. The only problem is after this region is being tested, you need to form a high. You need to break the all-time high. There's no other way around it. If you want the bull run to continue, and if you want to see end of year, I don't know, $80,000 in my opinion, or $90,000, you need this 53 level to hold. And after that 53 level holds, you need that bounce to take you above the all-time high. You cannot basically make anything lower than that, because if you do, you'll potentially form something like a head and shoulder formation, which is kind of like this, and then if you break it, your target will be this much, which will take you lower than this, and that's just going to be very, very bad. So I would like BTC to stay above this, and I would like BTC after staying above that 53K region or 53.5, I would like it to actually make a new all-time high and continue up, or at least another rally like this. That's what I expect. So if you want this bull run to continue, that's what you also need to expect for Bitcoin. Now your indicators are the thing that is worrying me. Now the week hasn't closed. Granted, we still have 3 days for the weekly close, but the indicators, which are the squeeze indicator and the stochastic and the RSI, are not giving me happiness. Basically, they're not making me very happy, and I'm gonna explain why. First of all, you have a bearish divergence on the weekly chart. Now this bearish divergence, I've heard many people say, oh, it's not confirmed, how can you just point it out? I just want to tell you guys that I have over like 4 years analyzing the squeeze indicator. I know this indicator like the back of my hand, so I can anticipate what it's doing and what it will do. And this bearish divergence on the weekly chart is kind of worrisome. And the main thing that is worrisome, it's not the weekly divergence that is worrisome. The worrisome part is the squeeze indicator itself. Now, granted, it is a lagging indicator, but it does work 4 out of 5 times. And what I don't like about the squeeze is that usually if you are a squeeze trader, you know that the green area is an area where you get out, and the red area is the red area where you get in. So basically, here's where you enter a long position, and you can see how profitable that long position would have made you. And here's where you enter a short position, and then you can see how profitable it would have made you if you shorted around that area tops. And what is even more worrisome is that usually after these green valleys are formed, they are followed by red valleys, and these red valleys, as you can see, are corrections. They are extended corrective phases, similar to something that happened right here. So right here, this would be very, very bad, but this would be very, very bad if the same thing happened again. What I would like the squeeze to be doing to kind of relax myself and know that this is not the end of the bull run or anything is I would like it to curve to the downside, but I would like the stochastic to curve down and then go up one more time. If I see that happening, then what you're going to do is you're going to form a double bearish divergence, which will give you one more all-time high and one more exit. And that I'm saying one more exit because the more bearish divergences the squeeze forms and the other indicators form, the more likely that you will have a strong ABC correction or a strong corrective phase or a bear market, depending on what level you lose, basically. So that's what would make me happy, to see the squeeze indicator on the weekly doing something similar to that. So you drop slightly, then you form another one, and then another one, something like this, and you form a bearish divergence, and then you get out. Because it will give you that red valley, and that red valley is this. Basically, a period of time where you don't pump anymore. Now, another thing that is also worrisome is, of course, the weekly MACD. So the weekly MACD, as you can see, is kind of turning to cross, and your weekly stochastic is also worrisome because if it does cross below 80, then that kind of signals a stop for more movement to the upside on the weekly. So you'll enter that downtrend, and it's gonna be long. So I think many people were expecting December to be 100, and I was kind of saying on my Twitter, like, I don't see it yet. And I said the key word is yet, and I don't see it is another keyword because of this bearish divergence, because of the squeeze indicator. So you can see here, if you did get out here, it would be super nice for you. Now, also one more thing, and potentially here also, one more thing I want to show you about the squeeze indicator is these two candles right here. So just imagine something similar to this, where you kind of drop for 2 weeks in a row, and you see this wick here on this candle. You might potentially have it also over here somewhere, and then you're going to have another drop and probably test the EMAs, and the EMAs by next week probably will be around like 55, and then after that you will bounce, do a lower high, and then maybe potentially drop one more time. But hopefully the next drop will be to the 30 EMA and to the trend line, and that would be very good. That will be a healthy correction. But again, the thing that I don't like is this. So be very, very careful with the next coming weeks, especially December, where everybody's expecting 100K by end of year. Especially now you're legit bullish. You're making higher highs and higher lows. You've made a higher high. Now, again, the bull run will still continue technically, unless you lose this region right here, because this is your main low right there. That 30K region is your main low. If you lose that 30K region, then the bull run is done. That's plain and simple. If you don't lose it, you pound it. You gotta be careful. And right now you just need to focus on the trend line right there. So that's the weekly chart for me, and you can see also your RSI is below 70. So that's just telling you you're entering a place in time where there's no more upside. Hopefully you do something similar to this, where you drop and then you bounce, because if you do start to drop below that 50 level on the RSI, then that's going to signal a stronger correction, and that's going to signal that squeeze to do that, and then you can enter here if you want. But for now, yeah, that's what I have for the weekly. 3-day chart as well is something that we use to kind of specify the macro perspective. You kind of have a exaggerated divergence. This is kind of nice, by the way, the 3-day chart, even though it is very bearish in my opinion, but your squeeze indicator still hasn't curved red. That says to me that you're still good to go, and you can see where you're bouncing at, by the way, on the 18 and 30 EMA. That kind of tells me you're still good to go, because it will give a chance for this to do this. But I think if this happens, like I said, and if you hold this region, I think this will do a bearish divergence like that, and you'll have a higher high like that, and then you need to get out, because this will be an extended correction similar to something like this, or something similar to something like that. And you can see you're already crossing bearish on the MACD as well. So all of this is telling you that we are in a corrective phase, and we're still not out of the woods yet for this corrective phase. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to drop below 50 or whatever. No, the corrective phase, like I told you, can just bounce up and down somewhere like here, consolidate slightly, and then bounce to the upside. But you will see your indicators giving you that upside move, by the way. One more indicator for the macro, not the macro, but the midterm, is your daily. Now, your daily is very nice, because your daily is kind of telling you what I've been telling you for the last 15 minutes, is that you are potentially going to form a lower high. And why do I say a lower high? Because you are where you are and you've entered bearish mode right there. So most likely what you're going to do is you're going to form a lower high, kind of pump. And we will see the pump, by the way, on the 4 hour. But on the daily, what I can see from the daily is that you actually have formed, or you are potentially forming, a bullish divergence on the daily chart. Potentially. And I say potentially because your squeeze indicator hasn't fully curved yet. That's why I say potentially. That bullish divergence is what you will probably be waiting for. Oh, I erased my squeeze. Oh, where's my squeeze? Anyways, I will add it. So yeah, that is the thing that you are that you should be waiting for, because it will give you. That's what happened, by the way, on the Elon pump. We kind of formed a bullish divergence on the squeeze. And after that bullish divergence was formed, you kind of had a huge rally to the upside. Let me just move my squeeze to the upside because it's my main thing. Okay, great. So what I'm waiting for BTC on the daily to kind of signal that rally to the upside is at least some red valleys being formed. At least one, basically. At least one red valley. So something like this. When I see that curvature, it's probably a nice time to get in, but I'm not going to get in 100%. I'll probably DCA in, because right now you are in bearish territory. But I think, like I said, you will have a potential upside to the EMAs around $62,000, $63,000. Could go all the way up to 64 and then drop one more time. Test the EMAs one more time, or our trend line, forming that falling wedge formation, and then break to the upside. Now the 4 hour time frame is bullish, but it still has some downside to go. So as you can see right now, you are crossing bearish on the 4 hour EMAs, and you're testing the 4 hour EMAs as resistance. As you can see, how many times you're getting rejected on them. And this will continue to the downside, and we're kind of forming a kind of like a channel or a falling wedge formation right there. You can see it. Let me just show you. So you're forming kind of like a channel to the downside, and you can expect to keep bouncing in this channel till you finally break out, basically. You don't have any divergences from what I can see yet on the 4 hour time frame, and the 4 hour time frame does, you might have a potential divergence here on the MACD, but again, all of this just tells you that this is a relief rally to the upside to form another lower high and then drop one more time, because it's the daily that's going to give you that signal for the upside on the rally. But I think the daily squeeze indicator will do something similar to this. Best case scenario, it will do this, and it will be a small correction, but I think it will be, I think this is what you're going to see. I think that similar pattern where you kind of form a double bearish, double divergence there, and then you pump and you break your falling wedge formation to the upside. And yeah, that's our analysis for BTC. I think it's very clear for now what I'm seeing. I will go to the 1 hour just to check one more thing on the one. You can see your ADX on the 1 hour is kind of sloping up, which kind of indicates selling pressure. 15-minute kind of bouncing here and there, but generally speaking, this is not looking too bad for Bitcoin. I'm not gonna alarm anyone. You will start being alarmed if you suddenly lose 55K by tomorrow. So if you see yourself tomorrow trading at 53K, then you can start to panic slightly. You will have a lower high after, so you will pump slightly after, form a lower high, but it will be followed by another lower low, which will be lower than 53, and that's where you start to panic, but not panic too much, because I said the line in the sand is $40,000. You can start to panic more, and by that I mean that you will have a stronger correction. So that's our BTC analysis. I'm gonna pop to the chat and see if anything is happening in the chat. As for how do you think we observe the market healthy? Not just BTC. You can look at the alts like Solana looks super bear on the weekly, which is why I'm scared. Could you look at the total altcoin market cap and give some of your thoughts? Oh, sure. Why not? Sure. I can look at that, but I think it's gonna. I think the total the altcoin market cap. I think excluding BTC or including. Let me just check the DXY first, by the way, because the DXY is has been looking like a beast for quite some time right now. Let me just check it. So this is, if you remember, now I was right about this. Everybody was calling this bearish. I was calling it bullish. I was expecting that this is the sign that BTC has entered the bear market. But I don't know why Bitcoin did what it did. It kind of gave me an FU and switched. But to be fair, this is bullish, and it's still bullish, and it's going to continue being bullish. And it broke resistance, a long-term resistance, and this is going to continue to the upside more and more and more till some bad news happens or inflation hits or something along those lines. Because right now this is looking super good. It's not looking bad. You have potential bearish divergence on the 3-day chart, by the way, for the DXY. So this just means that you're going to go down to retest the EMAs again, or that trend line right here, that resistance that turned into support. Hopefully you're going to confirm it as support and then continue to the upside if you have dollars. If you don't have dollars, then this is very bad for you if you have just crypto. As long as this pumps to the upside, crypto is going to go to the downside, or at least stabilize. At least it won't rally too much, because the price of the US dollar kind of affects the price of crypto as well. The more the US dollar is valued, the less crypto is valued at, and people will tend to rush to USDT or USD and start selling their crypto if this continues to rally to the upside. Market cap, right? I don't know if you want the total. Let's just do the total. Yeah, total bearish divergence on the 3-day chart. I think one of my members pointed this out, and I posted it a few weeks ago. It's playing out. Yeah, total market cap is going for a downside as well. Also, is going for drops basically. You would probably see total market cap around 1.27 trillion. If this is a severe correction, it could go down to like 1 trillion or 1.1 trillion. In my opinion, losing 1 trillion will be very bad. Definitely, it will signal more that you're in a bearish situation than a bullish situation. You have your MACD crossing bearish, your RSI is bearish, your stochastic entering in that pause area where you cannot go up anymore, and potentially going bearish as well. So all in all, this is looking like it's going to drop, especially to test at least the EMAs, in my opinion. Something similar to this. Worst comes to worst, you drop to this area right there. But again, if you lose 1 trillion market cap, that would be super ugly. That would be a lower low on the market cap as well. But by the way, we need to be anticipating everything, because these are starting to look so much like head and shoulder formations that I cannot just neglect them. Like I see head and shoulders everywhere. So just be careful and just plan accordingly. Put that stop loss in play and just be careful. Last thing I want to see is the S&P 500. Just to see what's up with it. Excuse me about this. Let me just need. Yeah, so S&P 500 is still rallying to the upside. Let me see if there's some divergences. I think there are. Yeah. S&P still forming. It is forming a bearish divergence on the weekly chart as well. The S&P, by the way. So this is going to drop again one more time. I don't know if the next drop is going to be to the EMAs. But right now, as you know, the 30 EMA on the weekly chart is the S&P's last line of defense. You lose it, you're going to enter a stronger correction. So, and this stronger correction will affect all the market, because it's going to be a stock crash, basically, a market crash. And that's very bad, of course, for everybody, including crypto as well. 3-day chart not looking bad, so this still has at least 2 weeks of upside. Daily looking like a pullback, potentially forming a double top right there. Yeah, might as well drop slightly, maybe test the EMAs one more time, maybe the 30 EMA, but nothing too serious for the S&P. Okay, let me go to the chat. Oh, let's see. Okay, is the squeeze indicator of issues on the weekly time frame? No, the squeeze indicator can be used on any time frame, but it needs a lot of studying and mastering. It's not that easy, actually. Thank you, very cool to have. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Look like a blow off top on the market cap. Yeah, it looks like it, but a rule of TA says a pattern is a pattern unless it's confirmed. So you can see a donkey on the charts, and unless that donkey plays out, it's still just a donkey. That's why some people kind of watch too much or kind of try to find a lot of patterns on the chart, but they really don't matter. So if you see a falling wedge, it doesn't really matter if it's a falling wedge or not. You just need the breakout zones on the upside or on the downsides, and then you can trade it, or you can know where to buy or where to sell. There's no need to, even though falling wedges, for example, are statistically bullish, it doesn't really mean that you need to have that bullish bias in your heart. Okay, I'm gonna long it, because sometimes they do fake out, and I can give you a lot of examples. But yeah, guys, so this is what I wanted to analyze for you today. I am sorry for just the quick analysis, but I just want to give some clarity for the people out there. I don't want to make the stream too long. I think it's pretty obvious what is happening in the market. Don't be scared. Start worrying. Like I said, if you see tomorrow, like 53,000 tomorrow, or Saturday, okay, you can start worrying, definitely. But don't panic, because that will be the trend line. The trend line that you lose, the main trend line that you need to panic, is if you lose that 53,000 and you start closing daily candles at 50 for like 2-3 days in a row. That's very, very bad. Of course, that's very, very bad, because you're losing a strong support area. But again, the last line in the sand for the bull market, in my opinion, is $40,000. You lose 40, that's when you can at least either enter another 6-month, 7-month corrective phase, or if you don't want to call it the mini bear market or a long-term bear market, no one can know. But what I can give you, though, I can give you one piece of advice, because this indicator kind of, I also not forgot about it, but I just didn't give it the respect that it needs, basically, which is the EMAs, the 18 and 30 EMA on the weekly chart. These EMAs are very, very good in indicating whether the bull run is over or it's not over. Usually when these cross bearish, with at least 2 weekly close, and with your bearish cross, with at least 2 weekly close, that signals end of the bear market, the bull market. Sorry. So as long, you see, they came close to touching right there, but they didn't touch. So as long as they don't touch, you're still gonna be in a bull run. Once you do touch them, then you're gonna enter either a long corrective phase or a bear market. Now, usually if you talked to me like 6 months ago, I would say 99% a bear market, but because this time Bitcoin is doing something different, I need to take that into consideration, and you potentially might see another 6-month corrective phase, and you might never see any more bear markets. So Bitcoin can just enter in like prolonged periods of correction, like 6 to 7 months, and then rally again to the upside, and then enter a prolonged period of like 8 months, and then rally to the upside. Something along those lines might happen, because this time it's different. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the stream, guys. I'm sorry it was very quick. I will try to do one more again tomorrow. Don't be worried about BTC, and I will try to post more of these. If I see anything alarming on the charts, I will let you know. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching the stream, by the way, and I